So, Miss Shavon,
Creque.
Creque, good
Yes.
gracious, it's a French name, clearly, right?
Yes,
And so I
absolutely.
need to adjust the way
Yeah.
I'm reading and thinking about it. But look, tell me about the new Edge Academy of Health Sciences here at Early College at Edgecombe Community College.
Absolutely.
Walk me through all of it,
All the good things about it.
please.
Okay. So we have actually partnered once again with
Mhm.
Edgecombe Community College.
Right.
We already have one awesome early college that exists in Edgecombe
Mhm.
County. And their early college is geared towards several pathways that students can take. But this early college is going to be geared very specifically towards the healthcare field. So this is really for
Mhm.
students who have an interest in pursuing a career in healthcare, or at least exploring the options of those
Mhm.
healthcare pathways, and also being able to participate in an early college experience. So
Mhm.
we're very excited. The school opens up in the fall. It will be a brand new school and a brand new opportunity for our Edgecombe County students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, how'd you come up with the design? I mean, what's the target market specifically for, I guess, for kids? And
Mhm.
then what are we trying to prepare them ultimately to be
Yeah.
equipped to do?
Yes, absolutely. So, Edgecombe County, we have our graduate aims where
Right.
by the time students are 25, we want our students to be able to know their purpose and passion, to be able to possess agency, to be positive contributors to the community,
Mhm.
to be able to come back and stay in Edgecombe County and to
Right.
be able to be resilient. And so we're always thinking about our school design and what opportunities, what learning experiences can we give students to help them reach those graduate aims.
Mhm.
And so with an early college experience, this is a great opportunity for our first generation college students because with an early college, you get those college classes under your belt.
Right.
You get that associate's degree. It helps to catapult students into those opportunities. And then one thing that I think is pretty cool about this school is all of the other hands-on experiences students will be able to have. You'll be able to participate in internships and service learning in that healthcare field. The land building will actually be in the Rocky Mount campus
Okay. Got
of
it.
Edgecombe Community College.
Right.
That land building has a lot of lab simulations and things like that for students. So really the idea we have with all of our Edgecombe County schools is how else can we continue to give students more opportunities to live out those graduate aims?
Right.
How can we give them those experiences and the exposure they need to figure out what are those passions and to get a real experience with that passion and figure out their purpose so that
Okay.
they can meet the rest of those things that we hope for them.
So you call it health sciences. So
Yes.
I'm guessing that's the orientation or specific.
Absolutely.
So clearly, for me to graduate from high school, I've got to hit certain things that the state of North Carolina says I have
Yes.
to do. But
Yes.
you can do that in any format, right?
Absolutely.
It's basically reading, writing, arithmetic,
Mhm.
right? So my science can be biology as well
Right.
as anything else. And so once I can complete that associate's degree, are you trying to prepare somebody for a specific job like a registered nurse? Or are you trying to prepare somebody for maybe a pursuit for, public health administration or all of the above?
All of the above.
And so are there
yeah.
different tracks within the
Absolutely.
early
Great
college?
question.
Yeah.
So there are several pathways students can take. And one of the things
Right,
that
so that's
I've
how old I am. I'm calling them tracks, right? Okay,
No, but I understand. We got it. We understand the meaning. And one thing that I've shared with students is that the health science field now has changed. It is so
Yeah.
much larger than what we think about within the context of a hospital.
Right.
And so I've met students who say like, "Oh, I'm interested in engineering." There's a place for engineers in the medical field. Someone has to do the IT, someone has to do the coding. There are so many advances on a regular basis. So they will have an opportunity to explore several pathways. There's the EMT program,
Mhm.
phlebotomy, radiology, ophthalmology. I mean,
Right.
so really what we're looking at is if you have any interest whatsoever in any avenue, any facet of health science, there is a pathway here for you.
Okay.
And even if it's not the very specific thing that you may do later, like say you decide like, I want to be an anesthesiologist,
Sure.
there are several other skills and things that you will pick up throughout this process that still prepares you for that long-term goal
Yeah.
of being the anesthesiologist. So it's not just centered around, I specifically want to be a nurse, even though we know that in our area, there are a lot of disparities within our healthcare
Mhm.
field here. This
Mhm.
opens up the pathway also for the community for us to prepare healthcare workers to come back and hopefully give to these surrounding areas. But there are so many other options of health science pathways that students can explore through this early college.
Well, I think
hospital.
that's important to really underscore here, right? So
Absolutely.
when you start talking about a phlebotomist, right, I can get a job in that after a
Mhm.
2-year associate degree.
Exactly.
So I can choose to go to work at that point in time.
Yes.
I mean, 2 years probably gets me at least a licensed practical nurse degree, maybe
Absolutely.
an RN, depending
Yes.
on what sciences I take and the practical components. And of course, in the registered nurse category, there's a difference in pay between the associate's degree and the BSN, and then the master's. You know, if you want to pursue it, creates a pathway to become a nurse practitioner if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
I guess a physician assistant,
Yes.
and the list goes on. So it's really somebody who knows that they want to, really believes that they want to pursue some sort of healthcare
Absolutely.
background, and it provides me with my high school diploma,
Yes.
with an associate's degree,
Or at least college transfer credit.
there you go.
And, which again, even going back to the thing for first year generation students, college students, if you have that, because there are competitive programs, so students can get certifications in that, like the certified nursing assistant and
Right.
phlebotomy,
Sure.
but they can also apply to more those competitive programs like the licensed practical nursing
Sure.
and those programs. But then even whether it's the associate's degree or the 2 years of college credit, especially for students who maybe would not have been seeing college as an option in the future, you already have those 2 years of credit under your belt. You do decide to go on to get your bachelor's degree.
Right.
You're in school for much less time. It's much less expensive. You've already gotten that college experience, taking those college classes. So it really does just open the door for students to be able to continue on with those
Right.
opportunities.
And that's one of the things about healthcare in particular, that it needs to be this way, but I don't like this component. But you really can't advance unless you have the certification and degree.
Right.
It's just, I can't say, gosh, you got a great work ethic and you had 20 years of experience as a CNA, so you should be an LPN.
Right.
But it just doesn't work that way. So you've got to go have the extra little certification. You can't be an RN, and unless you've gone to school and you've
Right.
tested it out. So it's important to really be able to start that journey. And I love the
Absolutely.
fact that there's so many decision trees here, right? I can work,
Yes.
or I can continue my schooling. I can work, I
Exactly.
can continue my schooling, and so that's kind of a big deal. So who applies? How do I apply? And
Yes.
do I need to be part of the Edgecombe County school system to do that, or
So this is the first year is opening, and the plan is to start this year with 9th and 10th grade students. So if you are a current 8th grader or a current 9th grader, you are welcome to apply. It is open to all Edgecombe County school students.
okay?
But the other thing that I think is cool is the first Edgecombe County school that's going to be in Rocky Mount. So we have also opened it up to those Nash County students who are on the Edgecombe County
Well,
side.
From where we sit, which happens to be in Nash County,
Uh-huh.
to your campus, it can't be more than 150 yards.
Absolutely.
I mean, it sounds so far away because you're.
I know, but right as I was driving in, I was like, "Oh, there's the school right there." Exactly. So it is open to those students as well. So if you are a current 8th grader or a current 9th grader, another thing that I think is really nice for this opening year is we're only starting with 100 students. So you're looking at a very small school environment. So for students to really get that one-on-one support and help is a great thing, because we want the experience to be rigorous enough in the high school courses so that they are well prepared for those college level courses. And starting with this small number allows us to be able to really get in there and provide that support for students, both academic support on the high school side and on the college side.
So how many slots are there?
Great question. So I was
Because
going to
that's
actually
gonna tell you about the
say,
competitive piece,
yes,
right?
very, very true. I was going to say we actually have already accepted our first 50 students.
Okay.
We have some interviews, some scholar meetings lined up for some other applicants, but we are still taking a few more applications right now. So if this is something that you are interested in, before all of the spots are gone, please get those applications in as soon as possible so we can get that set up. And the process after families apply, and they can actually access the application through the Edgecombe County Public Schools website by clicking on the Edge Academy of Health Sciences. There's an application there. There is a PowerPoint, videos, FAQs, those things that families would need. You can get those to me. I am currently at North Edgecombe as the principal for the rest of this year, or Dr. Batts, who's our Director of Secondary Education. And after that, we go through our scholar meetings and meet the families to make sure this is the right fit for the scholars and their families, because the early college experience is different. And then once students receive their acceptance, then we'll walk them through those next steps. So there is still time for families to apply, but get them in soon, because, it's a great opportunity, and we want people to be able to have to be able to be a part of this.
So you're talking 50 kids now. Does that include 8th through 12th grade, or just 8th graders?
This is just our current 8th and 9th graders.
So
we're going to add a grade each. It's going to progress.
That's where I was going. So I'm a rising 9th grader.
Correct.
That allows me to participate in this.
Rising 9th grader or rising 10th grader.
So if nobody I hate to say it, drops out or transfers or decides another track, I'm sorry, pathway, then, you would have about 100 students in this program when it's fully fleshed out
for the first year.
4 years from now. Yeah.
Well, what the plan would be is we would open with 100 students this year.
Okay.
And then we
So
would
it's 50 per grade.
per grade level this year.
Okay.
Yes. And then what we anticipate
So it'll be
is
200
opening. Yep,
I got it.
absolutely. So
Right.
just adding each from after this year, it would be open to rising ninth graders.
Okay.
So when you're in your 8th grade year in the future and your
Mhm.
parents are deciding what are your next steps and you're trying to think about what your high school experience is, then each year we will accept about a new additional 40 or 50 ninth graders.
Okay.
And so eventually we are looking at over 200 students when it's all said and done, which is still a pretty small number of students for a high school and allows you the opportunity to really still have that close relationship that we are really banking on.
Well, I think it's exciting. I want to. So, what are you finding to be in early college? The differences between, we'll call it traditional high school, because I'm a graduate of Rocky Mount Senior High, proud Griffon, class of '85, and I think my graduating class had close to 400, 500 kids in
Yes.
it. And obviously that world's changed
Right.
too. So what is the primary difference? I mean, clearly we are going down a career path. Clearly we are pursuing even another level of education too, because we're getting some college credits in here. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the
Exactly.
weakest of the weak
Exactly.
students, right? So there's a different maturity that requires
Absolutely.
and a different experience. So, but what are you hearing feedback from? And the reason I ask is, if I'm considering applying, what are the things that
Absolutely.
I need to be thinking
be
about
thinking
that makes
about.
it different? Yeah.
Absolutely. I really think the biggest thing, I also am a student of traditional schools. I'm entering my 20th year of education. All of that primarily has been in a traditional school setting.
Mhm.
And I think just the biggest difference is really all of the opportunity for the amount of college classes that you're able to take.
Right.
I think that part is huge. And even though this will be my hope for all schools at some point, that access to being able to engage in the internships and all of those pieces. I know there are traditional schools that have internship programs and they're getting traction there. Just the different experiences in terms of the internships and the service learning, I think those things are pretty unique. And a lot of in our particular school, the hands-on learning, the simulated labs, that is very different from anything I've seen at any school.
Right.
And so I think in particular, like that would be a very unique experience for students who are at the Edge Academy of Health Sciences. But I think with the early college experience overall, it really is just that creating that college going culture very early, a lot more flexibility in the class schedule. In a traditional setting, you are in a 4x4 block classes.
Right.
You're there. Everybody is moving at the same time. You're there from 8 till 3:30. Whereas in an early college setting, in your 9th and 10th grade year, you may be on a very similar schedule. But by the time you're in 11th grade, you may have a 6 p.m. class. You may not have a class. So it starts
college
to mimic
experience.
more of that
Yeah.
college experience.
Yeah.
And I think that piece is very different.
Mhm.
Another thing that is different, though, about the Edge Academy is that a lot of early colleges don't offer athletics.
Well, I was going to ask.
Yes.
Athletics and other extracurriculars like clubs and
Absolutely.
band or whatever that may be.
So students will actually get to participate in athletics
So
at
I
the
think
Edge Academy.
that's a big deal.
And I think that makes a difference for a lot of students because in a lot of early college settings, you do have to make a decision on whether or not you want to engage in athletics. But we'll still have clubs, we'll still have activities, we'll still have dances and proms and those things. But I think adding the athletic piece to this school really is a unique experience. They will play at their home base school.
That's what I was going to
Yes,
ask
I
you.
felt that. I knew
you
that was
just knew it
coming. I
I'm not-
felt it.
Don't interrupt.
No, but students, so we won't actually have sports teams at the Edge Academy.
So if my district is North Edgecombe, then I play
Absolutely.
at North Edgecombe.
Yep.
If my home district Southwest, then I play at Southwest.
Absolutely. And so then you kind of get the best of both worlds in
Sure
the
you do.
sense that you still get to be a part of these team sports, but you also still get to have that early college experience.
Well, that would have made a difference for me, I think, in
Yes.
making those decisions. Not that I was a great athlete, but I did enjoy playing and participating in team sports.
Right.
And so it was kind of a thing. So, so the first track or first early college that we have at Edgecombe Community College really is, I guess, general college. It's really related to trying to get somebody to a 4-year institution and kind of a head start at a 4-year institution. And now we've got something with a track or primarily based on health sciences. And I
Yes.
think this is great.
Hmm.
This is one of the early conversations that Edgecombe County School System was having
Hmm.
relative to how do we deal with the demerger,
Right.
between Nash County or the Rocky Mountain
Hmm.
School
Hmm.
and specific to the county line.
Hmm.
And I think it's wonderful. I think it's
Hmm.
the right mechanism, the right location,
Hmm.
and I'm excited to hear about it. So
Same.
there may even be future early college programs that are launched at some point in the future.
Absolutely. Who knows what could come?
Sure.
And that's one thing that is also interesting about this is, like I said before, in Edgecombe County, we are always looking at what are all the options of school design.
Right.
This could be an avenue for other specialized high schools to open up. It could have an impact even on the way we run our traditional high schools. There are just so many ways that we could do school, and this just shows us that this is another one of those options.
Well, and I'm excited. I sit on the Gateways Partnership
Hmm.
for Economic Development for our region
Hmm.
area, the executive board, and we had a think tank session. Gosh, it's been a couple months ago
Hmm.
now. And the primary premise was, everybody thinks of it K through 12,
Hmm.
but let's challenge that. It's really pre-K through 85.
Absolutely.
Right. We're all now in a new continuous learning
Hmm.
environment.
Hmm.
The skills that I thought that I was going to have to maintain for the rest of my life are constantly changing.
Yes.
And I'm constantly having to renew some
Hmm.
sort of education, be it through technology
Hmm.
or otherwise.
Right.
So I think this just fits in the model so
Absolutely.
perfectly with that new concept.
Yes.
So what are you hearing from potential employers in the area? Have you had any interface with like Bident and with UNC hospitals and Boyce Willis or Tauber Clinic
Mhm.
or other larger
Mhm.
employers in the area for healthcare?
So we have a planning team that is in the process of making all those connections.
Hmm.
I know that there is some excitement already building within the community. And I think, again, because it is going to help our workforce in the
Right.
health science field. I mean, of course, obviously, we just really are really excited about the opportunity it's presenting for the students. But there is excitement. We're building those partnerships. With our first early college, we have the Scholar Teacher Program
Hmm.
where the students have an opportunity to earn a scholarship. We're working with with Biden and looking at how can we start something like that with the Health Science Academy.
Hmm.
Like, what kind of program or scholarship opportunity could we offer where students maybe once they graduate from the early college and they go through this program and go off to college can get a scholarship with the commitment to come back and work in these. So those are the types of partnerships we're trying to develop.
Okay.
And I think those things are really exciting for our students and the community.
Well, and what I'm hearing, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I've got to hit certain marks to get
Right.
my high school diploma and
Absolutely.
to qualify for associate's degree. So that's we'll call them general college. I got to
Mhm.
read, write, do arithmetic. I got to pick up science. I got to have
Mhm.
probably a language or something or
Mhm.
some equivalency. But if I really were an exceptional student or particularly motivated,
Mhm.
then I can do as much as I can possibly eat and deal with based on my own personal experience and
Absolutely.
track.
Absolutely. The state of North Carolina requires students to have 28 credits to graduate.
Right.
And this is a 5-year model.
Right.
So then, that is sometimes another benefit to parents. You get to hold on to your baby a little bit longer, one more
Sure.
year.
Sure.
But the 5-year cohort model allows us to get those high school classes finished and within the first couple of years as much as possible. And it just depends on the needs of the students. There may be some students where the high school classes are stretched out more.
Hmm.
There may be some students who they take summer classes, they do those things
Sure.
and get more of those classes out the way. And there is that opportunity. I've gotten my 28 credits for high school done. I'm going to take some classes throughout the school year, my college classes. Maybe over the summer, I want to take another class. Maybe I
Right.
want to take some evening classes. So there is that space to get the most that you can get out of that experience if that is something you desire as a student.
So how is that going to interface with the system as a whole? Is there going to be like a guidance counselor and advisor in this
Yes.
process? Because this is we're going from this very structured environment. You
Mhm.
will. You've got options, you got choices
Mhm.
in that traditional setting, but not as many.
Yes.
So electives, what we called them in 19 whatever.
Same, still electives.
All right, fine. So you had the electives you could take after you took your core
Mhm.
classes. But this is a whole nother brave new world.
Yes.
So, and I'm not sure at 14, 15,
Absolutely.
I had
That
the maturity, foresight,
exactly.
any of that.
For sure, for sure. So we will still have some of those things that we're familiar with. So there will be a college we'll have a regular guidance counselor on
Right.
site, and that person will follow in some of those same roles with helping with scheduling and social emotional support for
Right.
students and all of those things. We also have a college liaison that works between ECC and our school.
Hmm.
And that college liaison works along with the counselor to help students figure all those things out.
Sure.
So, I'm trying to figure out if this is the pathway I want to take. What does that look like? What classes do I take? What would I need? What are my credit hours? What books do I need? All of those things. So,
Hmm.
you now have the high school counselor, you have this college liaison, you have your regular high school teacher. So you have your English, math, science,
Hmm.
social studies teacher. We are hiring a Spanish teacher.
Now, will
You'll
those classes be at your home school?
These are at the community college.
So everything will be embodied
All
at
of
that
this is at
campus here
community
in
college.
Rocky
Yep,
Mount. Okay.
will be in the Barnes building
Okay.
on the Edgecombe Community College campus. All of their high school classes will take place within the Barnes building,
Okay.
and then as they take their college classes, we start to transition into some other spaces.
Okay.
But they'll have that college counselor. You'll have your high school English, math, science, social studies, and a Spanish teacher.
Hmm.
You'll have your front office person, just like you do in
Hmm.
a high school. So your bookkeeper, your data manager, that
Sure.
type person. And we also will have what we call kind of a project-based learning, STEM avid learning coordinator to help with those programs. And on top of that, other things that will still like be supports for students, the same way there is remediation and
Hmm.
intervention set up in a
Sure.
traditional high school, we will have a schedule and have a process for teachers and people to be able to support in that way. And then the college also has academic supports
Hmm.
office on campus.
Hmm.
So you have those things, but we do have some of those same positions at the school because the kids still need all of that same
Right.
support that they would have had in a traditional high school plus some.
Well, but it's so different, right? I ended up
Mhm.
with an associate's degree, assuming I want to pursue my bachelor's degree.
Right.
Now I've got to decide what institution I want to go to.
Absolutely. So you still need all of that.
All that,
Yes.
and then I've got to decide what track to get into. And
Exactly.
you're still qualifying to go to those places. And
Exactly.
I guess you're still taking the SAT. You're still
Yes.
doing all the things that you do in
Mhm.
that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, this is super exciting to
Mhm.
me. So, what excites you the most? I mean, you're a principal.
Oh,
You've
my
come from
goodness.
North Edgecombe,
Yes.
right? So you're going to go to this. Well, we'll call it a new concept.
Absolutely.
So a lot kind of rides on the pioneer's shoulders.
It
So you got to be
Ooh,
excited,
that's heavy.
enthusiastic. I don't mean it to be heavy, but it's an important
It
component,
is.
and it matters, and
Absolutely.
it matters a lot.
Absolutely. This, like I said, am entering year 20 in education. All of those years have been at Edgecombe County Public Schools. I've
Mhm.
taught at Tarboro High. I was an assistant principal at Southwest, currently the principal at North Edgecombe, and just really excited about being at the helm of opening this new school. And I think the thing that excites me most, I obviously just have a love and a passion for young people, and specifically the young people of Edgecombe County
Right.
to have been in this area for so long. But I'm just really excited for the different opportunities that I see coming out of this for our students. If you ever get an opportunity to go and explore the land building and just looking at the
Mhm.
simulations and just
Right.
the live thing, I could just picture our students standing there in this room watching, participating in the labor and delivery room in this space, participating in the radiology room.
Sure.
And so students really having the hands-on experience and getting a chance to firsthand see, is this the pathway for me? I
Mhm.
think a lot of times in schools, kids sit and we take classes and we try to give them hands-on experiences as much as possible. But, this truly does give them that unique experience. And I'm just excited to see what this will mean for our kids. I'm
Yeah.
excited for what this means for our community. I don't think I can pick one thing because I'm just excited about the concept overall, and being able to be on the ground floor and be a part of the development, knowing that the decisions that our team makes now will have a lasting impact. I just think all of that is awesome.
You raise a great point. I
Mhm.
think when I was in high school, my thought process
Mhm.
went this overly simplified, but it's kind of true. Oh, somebody tells me this is a pretty good job and it pays pretty well.
Exactly.
And if I'm going to do that, then I've got to go to this school and I've got to
Mhm.
study this, and then I've got to be on this track to get to that
Mhm.
place. I had no clue what any
No
of that
clue,
meant,
right? Exactly.
So you start talking about healthcare in particular. Well, I'm going to be a nurse. Well, that's
Yes,
great. They do pay. It just pays very well.
absolutely.
But not everybody's into taking blood. Not everybody's into dealing
Exactly.
with the bodily fluids and all
Mhm.
the things that come with that. And so, just having that real hands-on experience will
Absolutely.
get you there in a hurry.
Yes,
And either
yes,
you love it or you don't,
absolutely.
which raises a point. So if I decide, well, this is not really for me,
Mhm.
can I transfer, I suppose, over to a different pathway,
Absolutely,
either early
right.
college or
Mhm.
back to my traditional school,
Mhm.
or just providing those options?
Right. I think it's just good for kids to be able to figure those things out early, just like you said. I think that's awesome. And I think the other thing that I'm excited about and that I'm hopeful about is, as we look at the things that come out of this school design, what other lessons do we learn from this that we can apply to our other schools and in whatever other future design? So my hope is always that anything that we create or that we come up with, we're always looking at, okay, how can we apply this in a way that makes sense for all of our schools so that every single child in Edgecombe County Public Schools is really getting the best opportunity that they can have, regardless of where they are. So I think just every time we get into the lab, as I call it, and start
Well,
to plan and
that's
think
really
and
what it is.
design,
It's a
you
lifetime
know,
educational lab.
absolutely. It just opens up more and more ideas for like, what else can we do for the students for Edgecombe County Public Schools? I just think that's exciting.
Look, thank you for coming. This has been
Absolutely.
absolutely
Thank you.
awesome. I hope you much success,
Yes.
because I see once this kind of hits off as a platform, so many possibilities from healthcare to technology
Absolutely.
and really what we're trying to do is equip kids to learn, to
Yes.
be able to make a living and to be able to build a world for themselves.
Mhm.
And, anyway, people talk about athletes going pro early, and I'm like, well, what'd you go to college for?
Right.
I went so I'd earn more money if I didn't.
Exactly. That is very true.
So, you're giving kids an opportunity to go
Yes.
pro a little earlier.
Absolutely. I love that. I
And
love
it's
that as an
true.
example. Yes. I'm going to start using that in
You
my
go right ahead.
right.
Yeah,
Like
no copyright
opportunity to
there.
go pro early.
Absolutely. Well, that's what it is.
But it is. You're absolutely right.
And it
Absolutely right.
creates those options, and that's what gives you
Mhm.
flexibility in life.
Absolutely.
Look, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You bet.